Join the Bhakti podcast with deep insights into all matters spiritual. Like and subscribe to keep up to date with your inner self.
Translation. After attaining me, the great souls, who are yogis in devotion, never return to this temporary world, which is full of miseries, because they have attained the highest perfection. Purport 2?
Yes.
Purport. By His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Since this temporary material world is full of the miseries of birth, old age, disease, and death, naturally, he who achieves the highest perfection and attains the supreme planet Krishnaloka, Goloka Vrindavan, does not wish to return. The supreme planet is described in Vedic literatures as Avyakta and Akshara and Paramagati. In other words, that planet is beyond our material vision, and it is inexplicable, but it is the highest goal, the destination for the Mahatmas, great souls. The Mahatmas receive transcendental messages from the realized devotees and thus gradually develop devotional service in Krishna consciousness and become so absorbed in transcendental service that they no longer desire elevation to any of the material planets, nor do they even want to be transferred to any spiritual planet. They want only Krishna and Krishna's association and nothing else. That is the highest perfection of life. This verse specifically mentions the personalist devotees of the Supreme Lord Krishna. These devotees in Krishna consciousness achieve the highest perfection of life. In other words, they are the supreme souls.
Thank you very much. Beautiful reading, Amisha. Go read the translation again, please.
After attaining me, the great souls, who are yogis in devotion, never return to this temporary world, which is full of miseries, because they have attained the highest perfection.
Hare Krishna. Avagnati mirandasya, Gananjana Shalakaya, Chakshurun militam yena tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Shtapitam Yena Bhutale, Swayam Rupagadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam, Vandeham Shri Guru, Shri Udapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha, Shri Rupam Sakrachatam Sahagana Ragunatam Vitam Dam Sachivam, Sadvaitam Savatutam Parichana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam, Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shivishakan Vitam Schana, He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate, Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute, Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari, Rishabhanu Sutatevi Pranamami Hari Priye, Vanchakalpatarupascha Kripa Sindhupya Evacha, Patitanam Pavanepyo Vaishnavepyo Namo Namaha, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadāḥ Shivasati Gaura Bhaktaringa, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we had last week, or 2 weeks maybe, this beautiful verse 8:14. So just to connect, let's read that translation of 8:14 again. For one who always remembers me without deviation, I am easy to obtain, O son of Pritha, because of his constant engagement in devotional service. So it's all about pure devotion and pure devotional service. So this takes that a step further. After attaining Krishna, the great souls, the Mahatmas, they are yogis in devotion, not Hatha yogis or Karma yogis or Jnana yogis or Ashtanga yogis or any other yogis. So they are bhakti yogis. Yogis in devotion means bhakti yogis. And here Lord Krishna says they never return to this temporary world. And you might have heard this phrase, In Srila Prabhupada's classes, he quotes it many times, duḥkhālayam aśāśvatam, full of miseries and temporary. Duḥkhālayam aśāśvatam. That's a very, just these lines, these two words. And this world is duḥkhālayam aśāśvatam. It's full of miseries. If someone doesn't understand this world is full of miseries, he has a long journey to go. If he thinks this world is full of enjoyment for me, he has a long way to go to understand and to come to the conclusion, these enjoyments, what I'm experiencing now, they won't last forever. They will turn into miseries eventually. Or as Srila Prabhupada said, there is no enjoyment in this world. It's all misery. And we take the break in between two miseries, two strains of miseries, we'll take it as enjoyment. So basically it is the absence of miseries we take as enjoyment. Jayanti Lal, Hare Krishna, welcome. But that is not real enjoyment, the absence of misery. Take an example. You're doing some DIY at home. You want to put up some pictures, and you have a nail and the hammer slips and hits your thumb. And the thumb immediately hurts and becomes blue and lots of pain. And you run into the kitchen sink and put cold water over it, and that is mitigating the pain to some extent. That is like the miseries of this world. To mitigate the miseries, we take it as happiness. To put the cold water over your thumb, oh, happiness. No, it's just the mitigation of the pain, the absence of the pain. That's not happiness. Happiness is beyond the absence of suffering and pain. But people mistake that. So this world is full of miseries. And I quote again the beautiful statement which Srila Prabhupada makes, said, people agree to suffer in the hope for happiness. That encapsulates a lot. People know they're going to suffer in this material world, but there is some hope. There is somewhere some happiness for me available. Vijay has come. Thank you, Vijay. Hare Krishna. Look what a big group we have tonight. Wonderful. So, the absence of pain is not happiness. It is just what it is, the absence of pain. Happiness is something positive, not just taking the negative away. So people take that for happiness throughout society, throughout the world. If they have a moment of absence of suffering and pain and distress, then they think, oh, I'm happy. So, Srila Prabhupada's quote, we agree to suffer in the hope for happiness. So people hope against hope. If I try again, there will be some happiness. People get married, for instance, and after a few years, the marriage falls apart, divorce. What's the next thing? Okay, let me try again. Let me find another wife. Let me get married again. This time it might work out. And after a few years, divorce again. Didn't work out. They're fighting, disagreements, so many things. Shortage of mutual sense, gratification. I scratch your back, you scratch my back. If there is any luck in sense gratification, then yes, then marriage falls apart because it's based on material values. Divorce again. Okay, let me try again. They say sometimes third time lucky. third time, so third marriage. And so on. They think, okay, next time it will work out. Next time, next time, next time. So it's with every endeavor for sense gratification, it is like that. Next time. So I desired a particular type of sense enjoyment, and all what I got was disappointment. And then we think, oh, next time there won't be disappointment. But that disappointment is built into this material world. It's part of this material world. We have to become disappointed. And even if we don't become disappointment with a product we buy, with a type of sense gratification we hanker for, then latest, when that sense gratification comes to an end, and every sense enjoyment will come to an end. Everything has a beginning and an end. In this material world, everything, because duḥkhālayam aśāśvatam, because everything is temporary. Latest, absolute latest, our sense gratification comes to an end when we have to leave this body. Usually much, much before that. Our happiness doesn't last very long. But, of course, according to our karma, happiness and distress. Bad karma means distress, good karma means happiness. How to get good karma? By doing pious activities. How do we get bad karma? Means suffering. By doing sinful activities. Generally, it's a mix. Nobody can only do pious activities. We might think we are a good person. Everybody loves to think of themselves. We are a good person. There is no bad karma for me. I do just good karma. But they don't understand, with every step we creating karma. With every step we stepping on some living entities, even if they are just ants. What to speak of food we eat and we don't offer it, we all get the karma for that. Only food we offer to Krishna is karma-free food. Krishna says, offer me with love and devotion, a leaf, a flower, a bit of water. I accept, and when Krishna accepts the foodstuff, he accepts the karma as well. Krishna can take unlimited reactions of our material activities. But if we don't offer the food, then the karma immediately increases. So thinking we are good people, we don't kill anybody. We don't try to hurt anybody. That's not enough. So we're creating a mix of karma, always. Even we try to endeavor to be just pious people. Good people. We don't hurt anybody. We may even be vegetarian, we may even be vegan, we may not try to harm any living entities, but bad karma, in so many ways, it is coming to us. The question has been raised. Someone asks, well, you are vegetarian, but don't you kill the cauliflower, the broccoli, the cabbage as well? It's also killing. That's true. Eating just a vegetarian diet is not karma-free. The karma-free diet is if we offer the food to Krishna each and every time. If we don't offer our food, we're definitely getting karma. And then we shouldn't be surprised that some negative karma means suffering is coming along the way, in this life or in next life. So this world is temporary. So what to do? Here Krishna says, these great souls who are bhakti yogis, pure bhakti yogis, as described in the previous verse, they don't return to this temporary and miserable world, because they have attained the highest perfection. Bhakti yoga brings us to the highest perfection of life. I had some interesting experience some time ago when I had to exchange a product in the supermarket. I was at the customer service desk, and there was a gentleman ahead of me. He just waved a lottery ticket, a scratch card, or was it lottery or scratch card? And he said, "I won something." And the lady checked the details. Yes, he won £10. And then she gave him the £10. And then he said to her, "Okay, give me some scratch cards for that £10. He won £10, and then he spent it again. And after he was leaving, I said to him, "You won and you lost." He smiled. Yes, he won and he lost again. So in the hope, this time I'm going to win 1,000,000, 100,000, 10,000 even. So let me gamble it away again, which I won. That is our situation. In the hope for happiness, we agree to suffer. Okay, I suffer because I still have some hope there will be some happiness in this material world. And even if someone wins 1,000,000 or 10,000,000 in the lottery, happiness is not guaranteed. There was many years ago, when the national lottery started in the UK, a Muslim family, they won 10 million, something like that, instantly. And then there was big discussion going on throughout the media. What to do? You are a devout Muslim family. You're not supposed to gamble in the first place. So what to do with the money? Some said, "Oh, give it to the mosque." Others said, "No, just keep it." And so a big debate, and they called the Hare Krishna Center. They called me and said, "Okay, so if you people, if you win 10 million, what would you do? Would you reject it? It's dirty money, it's gambling money, give it away? Or would you take it?" So we have a different answer. Nobody has this answer. Everybody is stuck in that, yes, I keep it for my enjoyment, or I sacrifice it and give it to the mosque, to the temple, to the church, and then I will not be touched by bad karma, so to speak. I said, well, we'll keep it, but not for our own sense pleasure, for engaging it in Krishna's service, for building a temple for Krishna, for preaching, for plastering the billboards throughout town. Please chant Hare Krishna for weeks and weeks, and all the buses, and so many ideas how to spread Krishna consciousness. So we engage in Krishna service. So the dirty money becomes clean money. Srila Prabhupada has been accused by his godbrothers in India, "Are you accepting the dirty money of the demons in the West?" But Srila Prabhupada knew very well, it's not to reject that, but to accept it and engaging in Krishna's service. And there was a very funny exchange of letters. One of these godbrothers who criticized you accepting the dirty money of the demons in the West, after years and years, he said, "Oh, Swamiji, you have accumulated so much wealth, you're doing so well with so many temples all around the world. We have a humble project here. Would you consider of helping us out a little bit?" Srila Prabhupada wrote back, "Yes, I could help you out, but I don't think it will be appropriate you using the dirty money of the demons." That was the end of it. So people have no idea how to engage everything in Krishna consciousness. Everything can be engaged. Like Bhagavad Gītā, Lord Krishna says, the yogi is
doing everything in balance. He doesn't sleep too much, he doesn't sleep too little, eat too much, eat too little. He is not the perfect renouncer who doesn't light any fire. No, you think I'm renouncing everything, I'm just living from fruits in the Himalayas, I don't light a fire. No, nothing of that sort. Why should you? Use everything in Krishna's service. Yukta Vairagya. Of course, that has been also misused, the term Yukta Vairagya. Because with that term we can justify almost anything. I accumulate a large amount of money for my own sense gratification, I call it, Yukta Vairagya. It's for Krishna's service. We had a very nice devotee, long time ago, and he bought himself a beautiful Mercedes. And the question arose, I mean, my dear Prabhu, you living alone, you don't even have a family, do you need that big Mercedes? He said, oh yes, I will drive sannyasis from Bhaktivedanta Manor in London to our Hare Krishna temple in Leicester, and they should have a comfortable ride. So that is the main reason I bought this Mercedes. It will be used in Krishna's service. Very nice idea. But in practicality, what happened? He hasn't transported even a single sannyasi ever. It was just a justification in the mind. Wrong application of Yukta Vairagya. So we have to be very careful. Now let's look a little bit at Srila Prabhupada's puppet. What are the miseries in this material world? Birth, death, old age and disease. When Srila Prabhupada said, he who achieves the highest perfection and attains the supreme planet, Krishna Loka, Goloka Vrindavan, does not wish to return. Or as Srila Prabhupada says, once we have got to the spiritual world, we'll never return to this material world. Why would we? Why would we? Highest perfection, Goloka Vrindavan. Of course, some want to go to the Vaikuntha planets and worship Lord Narayan in great opulence and reverence and respect. And others want to go to Goloka Vrindavan, the highest planet in the universe, where Krishna plays with his sakhas, and the gopis have so many wonderful affairs with Krishna. And Yashoda and Nanda and all the cowherd men and women, they are in parental affection with Krishna. So that is Krishna's family. Vaikuntha is Krishna's office. Like the big boss in the company. When he goes to office, everybody, oh, Mr. So-and-so, okay, Mr. Holding the door open and all respect. But when that same big chairman, big CEO comes home, he plays with his son. His son is riding on his back, and it's a completely different scenario. So that is Krishna at home. That is Goloka. And Vaikuntha is Krishna at the office. The relationship is different. In the office is all respect and veneration. At home, it's familiarity. It's lots of love and affection. Which one does the CEO prefer? Obviously, the atmosphere at home with love and appreciation and loving exchanges. He prefers to the Mr. So-and-so in the office. Yes, million times. So we can go to that Goloka Vrindavan if we want to. Meditate. We have to meditate on Goloka. We have to know what is going on. We have to know about the activities. Welcome, Ben. Hare Krishna. Look, Ben, what a big group we have. It's growing every week. So we have to know what is taking place in Goloka. How can we meditate on anything when we don't know what are the activities? We have to know the pastimes, we have to hear about the pastimes. We have to get attracted to the Goloka pastimes. We all find it in Krishna book. We find it in the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. So naturally, if we go there, no more return to this temporary world, duḥkhālayam aśāśvatam. That planet, Srila Prabhupada describes, is beyond our material vision. And the spiritual world is also described that these Vaikuntha planets, what to speak of the Goloka planet, there is no need for electricity, sunshine, moonlight. Everything is illuminated by Krishna's effulgence. Everything. So many activities taking place. Not like the Brahmajyoti where the impersonalists want to merge into, which is Krishna's effulgence. No activities in Krishna's effulgence. That was a very interesting example. A devotee had a conversation with Srila Prabhupada. And he asked, what is this Brahmajyoti? It feels so attractive to merge into this Brahmajyoti. All suffering is finished of this world. That is a fact. We're getting absorbed in Krishna's effulgence. There is a kind of happiness which is called Brahmananda. Ananda is bliss. So bliss from Brahman. Brahman Ananda. Brahmananda. So that many aspiring for this Brahmananda because they don't know anything superior to that. So Srila Prabhupada gave an example. Just imagine you sitting in a field. One of these big fields in America. These fields where they're growing certain crops, same crop as far as the horizon. It's all that field. You're looking in every direction. You can see the horizon, and that field stretches as far as the horizon. You're sitting in that field, all alone, nothing to do. How long can you sit there? No association, nothing to do, no activities, just sitting, just existing. And once a devotee understood that, we said, oh no, I'd rather go on Sankirtan in New York. So that is a Brahmajyoti existence. No activity, nothing to do. In fact, why people want to merge into the Brahmajyoti? Because they understand perfectly well the suffering in this world, duḥkhālayam aśāśvatam, the temporary material nature and the suffering condition of birth, death, old age, disease. Again and again and again, and next body, next body, next body. Samsaradava nadalita loka. So the wheel of samsara, repeated birth and death. They understand that. They want to get a way out of it. And their only information is of merging Sayujya Mukti into the effulgence of the Lord. They want to finish the suffering. Yes, the suffering will finish, but nothing else. Yes, your thumb under the cold water will relieve the pain. Yes, the pain is relieved, but there is no happiness. Besides that Brahmananda, of course, there is some kind of happiness, but that's no comparison to the happiness in Goloka or Vaikuntha. Where is that happiness in Goloka coming from? From our loving exchanges with Krishna and the Sakhas and the Gopis and the elderly cowherd men and women, all of that, and the forest of Vrindavan and the animals of Vrindavan, the Jamuna, the peacocks, everything that is loving exchanges. This is a real happiness. We know that from our own lives. The real happiness is being with friends, relationships with those we love, with family and those we acquaintances. That is a happiness. Not a big dinner or any amount of sense gratification. Just imagine. You are alone in this material world. You can have any amount of sense gratification. You can drive any of the most expensive cars, Rolls-Royce, Aston Martin, anything, it's all for you. You just use it. But you are alone. You are alone in this world. Will there be any pleasure? Will there be any joy? Any sense gratification? Any material objects? They're all at your disposal, but there are no relationships, no loving relationships with other living entities. So there's no happiness. So sense gratification in itself, there's no happiness. We want to share it. If you have a big new car, big television, or this or that, we want to share it. Or some people want to show off. So there is some happiness in relationships. So the spiritual world is full of relationships. The Brahmacharya, there is no absence of relationship. Therefore, absence of devotional service. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada calls it spiritual suicide. What we're suiciding our relationship with Krishna. We're killing our relationship with Krishna for just being in an impersonal position of just existence. Brahmacharya means, Brahman realization means eternity, like the boy sitting in the field for eternity. Right, for eternity, just sitting there in that big field, no relationship with anybody. There is just you on that chair sitting there. For eternity. Eternity is there, eternal existence. Okay, will we be satisfied with eternal existence? No. Therefore, most of those who are achieving the Brahmacharya are falling down again for lack of engagement. The soul is always active, every moment and any moment. Inactive is not a natural state. Inactive materially, but active spiritually in devotional service of acting out some spiritual engagements. What does it mean? Spiritual material. Definition is very simple. Anything in forgetfulness of Krishna is material. Anything without relation with Krishna. Of course, everything has a relationship with Krishna. Every object of this world is related to Krishna. How can it be otherwise? Krishna is Antayami, is a super soul in every atom. But we don't see that relation. We forget about that relationship with everything, even in this material world with a material energy. If we would see everything in this material world in relation to Krishna, then we would be highly Krishna conscious. And we would use everything to glorify Krishna, naturally. Because we realize everything belongs to Krishna. Our Maya, the Maya comes in when we take Krishna's energy for our own endeavor to gratify our senses. That is a Maya. First of all, this material energy belongs to Krishna. Daiviyesha gunamai mama Maya. It's my Maya. It's difficult to overcome is Krishna's Maya. But those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it. So if we have that equal vision of seeing everything on the same level, everything in relation to Krishna, that's the point, everything in relation to Krishna, we are in the liberated stage, mukti. Liberation has been achieved. Brahma Buddha prasanatmana shochati nagangshati. That's a liberated stage, liberated from the three modes of material nature. Sama sarveshu bhuteshu, equal to all living entities. Equal vision. The other verse earlier on in Bhagavad Gītā, where Krishna says a humble Brahmin, a wise, learned Pandita Sama Darshina. Sama, same, Darshina, same vision. He sees everything in the same vision. There's a beautiful picture in Bhagavad Gītā where there is an elephant with super soul, Vishnu, Murti in the heart. There's a Brahmana with Vishnu Murti in the heart, a dog eater. So if we have that vision, that is liberated consciousness, liberated stage. In that stage, we see really, truly everything on an equal platform. Or Srila Prabhupada makes that point. My children, why only my children? Why have you affection and love only for your children? Because these children have been in the womb of your wife. So therefore you consider that's my children. But you don't have that affection for the neighbor's children. Where is that found? We have same affection for the neighbor's children or any children in the world equally to our own children. Only a liberated soul can have this vision. Only someone on that Brahma Buddha platform. So, that is the liberated stage. We see everything in connection with Krishna. There are some impersonalists, and Srila Prabhupada makes this point in various places. They imagine to be liberated intellectually, with mental speculation. They imagine to be liberated. That will not help them. Imagining to be on the liberated platform, but having so many material attachments, that will not help. We have to actually become liberated from this material energy and see everything with equal vision. How can we see with equal vision? We see the super soul, we see Krishna in everyone's heart. We see Krishna in every atom. Everything in relation to Krishna, everything is already in relation to Krishna. But we prefer to forget that. Since millions of lifetimes, we have forgotten that, why we are still going around in this samsara cycle of birth and death, because we have forgotten. So this Krishna consciousness is the path of re-establishing, of uncovering our true spiritual nature. And this true spiritual nature, we are all related to each other. How much people like to relate to everyone. We like to expand our family, and we like to have relationships and good feelings about each and everyone. That is not possible in this material world due to our selfish endeavors for sense gratification. Because there is only a certain amount of resources in the material world. We want to enjoy those resources. Someone else wants to enjoy the same resources too. So we're starting to dominate, we're starting to fight. That's why there are wars, nation against nation, individuals against individuals. There is a strife, and that is called the hard struggle for existence. That goes on until we come to that liberated platform. Struggling for resources. We have to struggle because we are in material consciousness. Here Srila Prabhupada mentioned something very interesting. So Mahatmas receiving transcendental messages from the realized devotees and thus gradually develop devotional service in Krishna consciousness and become absorbed in transcendental service, that they no longer desire elevation to any of the material planets nor do they even want to be transferred to any spiritual planet. So there is a lot in just this long sentence. So Mahatmas, great souls, devotees, pure devotees, receive transcendental messages from those who are fully realized. If we want to receive transcendental messages from Srila Prabhupada, fully realized, liberated, Uttama, devotee, close to Krishna, so close we cannot even imagine, right-hand man of Krishna in the spiritual world. Devotees asked Srila Prabhupada, when we go back to Goloka, will we all recognize each other? Srila Prabhupada said, yes, but you won't recognize me. I'm not an old man. I'm a cowherd boy, a young boy, sir. I'm a young boy in the spiritual, in Goloka. So, gradually, we're getting these messages. We can get these messages, these transcendental messages from Srila Prabhupada, or other realized devotees, even previous acharyas, we can get these messages. We just must have the right antenna, the right receiver. If we put ourselves in such a consciousness that we can receive those messages, we're becoming a medium, so to speak, to receive the messages from the realized devotees. And that helps us to develop devotional service and become absorbed in transcendental, in that service. So, in becoming absorbed in Krishna consciousness, we will no longer desire elevation to any of the material planets. There are many, even devotees. They ultimately, what do they want? Many devotees want to go to the higher planets of the devas. Not every devotee wants to go to Goloka, back home to Godhead. No. There are all varieties. Some want to go to Vaikuntha. They just long for that opulence of Vaikuntha. But Goloka has also opulences, but those opulences are in the forest with the berries and the roots and the animals, and the paths in Goloka are paved with diamonds and rubies and all kind of precious stones, and their wealth is a different kind of wealth. And the opulence of Vaikuntha is gold and silver and this kind of things. So devotees, certain devotees, they want to go to Vaikuntha, being with Lord Narayan. Nothing wrong of going to Vaikuntha. Gop Kumar on his journey, he also went to Vaikuntha. But he was not satisfied. He longed for the simple life and relationship to Krishna as a cowherd boy, because that was his Svarup. And later on he was called Sarup. Sarup. That was his actual name. When Krishna saw him coming after long journeys through all the material higher planets, even Brahma Loka and Vaikuntha and Ayodhya Dham, and he came eventually to Goloka, Krishna recognized him and he called out, "My dear friend Sarup has come." That was his original form, original Svarupa, spiritual form, spirit relationship with Krishna as a cowherd boy. So he has realized that. And so he attained his desired goal after a long journey. So we also have to realize our particular relationship with Krishna. That's a goal of self-realization. We speak in so many ways, self-realization. Most devotees, they understand self-realization means to understand I'm a spirit soul. Nitya Krishna Das, which is correct. I'm not belong to this material world. I only have a material body, but I am the spirit, soul in this material body, and actually I'm Nitya Krishna Das, eternal servant of Krishna. That's my real identity. Everybody struggles for identity. So many identities in this material world we have created, and with each creation of our material identities, we separate ourselves from everybody else. We're saying, I'm English and you are Russian. So, English and Russians are enemies, so we cannot be friends. You are my enemy. Because I have identified with a certain country. That's my ID. I'm English. I have an English passport. I'm an Englishman. You are Russian. I hate you. I fight you. So we create these barriers between us in so many ways. Even I'm man, I'm woman, I'm this, I'm that, I'm highly educated, you are lowly educated, I'm white, you are black. So many identities we have taken on, and each of these identities will separate us from others. And in the end we find ourselves, we build a castle, an ego castle around us, and we find ourselves to be very, very lonely. All alone. We are king in our ego castle, yes, the greatest. But we cannot relate to anybody. They are different. They don't belong to us. I am this and they are that. So that is our ego castle. There seems to be no end to how high we can build that castle. In the spirit, in spiritual consciousness, that's very different. We developing relationships. If we have the right, Nitya Krishna Das, we are eternal servants of Krishna, then we recognize everybody else is an eternal servant of Krishna too. They may be in a different mood, in a different relationship with Krishna, and Krishna can accommodate all of it at the same time. Krishna can relate with the millions and billions of living entities in a unique way at the same time. That is Krishna. We mentioned that point before. How many friendships we can have on Facebook? How many? 100? Some people have thousands. That's not possible. To maintain relationships with thousands of people will be all day long on Facebook, and that would not even be enough. So there's a limit how many relationships we can maintain. A relationship means we actively interacting. That's relationships, not parked relationships, relationships by name only. I have so many friends on Facebook, but I have never interacted with all the thousands of friends, only with maybe 10, 12 I regularly interact, that's all. But Krishna, he can interact simultaneously with millions and billions of living entities in a unique way. There's no one relationship with Krishna and the living entity the same. Duplicates. There are no duplicates. Unique relationships. If each and every relationship with Krishna is absolutely unique. So we have to find our relationship with Krishna. That is called self-realization beyond Nitya Krishna Das. I'm eternal soul. Okay, I'm eternal servant of Krishna. The next question, if we advance in Krishna consciousness, and we should and we must advance, that's a basic. Yes, a basic is important to come to that conclusion, I'm eternal servant of Krishna. That's very good, because previously we have identified I'm eternal servant of Maya, I'm eternal servant of my senses. For many, many lifetimes we have tried to satisfy our senses. By some good fortune, we have come to meet a pure devotee of the Lord, and we have got the opportunity to understand who we really are. So, beyond I'm eternal servant of Krishna, what kind of servant am I? I am a servant in neutrality, like the Jamuna, like the trees, like the creepers. They all have relationship with Krishna in Goloka, but in different moods. The grass on the ground. It's very glorious, the grass. Lord Brahma, he desired to be a blade of grass outside of Vrindavan. What a humble position is that. He didn't say, oh, I want to be a gopi. I want to be a cowherd boy. No, he said, I just want to be a blade of grass. Not even in Vrindavan, outside of Vrindavan. So why he has is longing for that kind of existence? Lord Brahma, big Lord Brahma, the most pious living entity in the universe. The creator, the architect of the universe, who put everything together, who lives millions and millions of years in Brahmaloka. So why does he want to be a blade of grass outside of Vrindavan? Because when the devotees, the pure devotees of the Lord, circumambulate Vrindavan, when they're walking, when Krishna's friends walking outside, the gopis walking, then maybe they will step on that blade of grass, and I will get the foot dust of the Vrajavasis, and I may develop some mood like the Vrajavasis in Vrindavan. They are so much glorified. They are so special to Krishna, all the inhabitants of Vrindavan. Therefore, whenever some disturbance is there, when Krishna is acting out his pastimes, his lila in the material world, in Mathura and Vrindavan, then anyone disturbing the atmosphere of Krishna relating with his friends and parents and lovers, and then he kills the demons immediately, very, very quickly. The cowherd boys saying to Krishna, Krishna, we are very hungry, and we can smell the thala fruits not far from where we're playing now. There's a forest, Talavan. Van is a forest. Thala fruits, very sweet fruits. And they said, we would love to have some thala fruits, Krishna. But we are afraid. There are some demons in that forest. Nobody, not even the animals, not the birds, nobody can enter that forest. Because the demons, they want all that thala fruits for themselves. So we are hungry and we would love to taste those thala fruits. Krishna immediately, okay, let's go. So if Krishna takes the lead, cowherd boys are not afraid. Why should they be afraid? Krishna is there. Likewise, when the Aga pastime occurred and they saw this big snake, Aghasura, on the path, some of the boys said, that's a demon. Others said, no, that's a cave. Looks like a cave. But even if it's a demon, we'll just walk in it, because Krishna is there, he'll protect us. That is surrender to Krishna. That is that high consciousness. We can only take a small example of that. Krishna will protect us. If we are sufficiently Krishna conscious in this material world, then we also are convinced Krishna will protect us. And Krishna does protect us if we set surrendered, that we're depending on Krishna. Krishna will protect us. But we don't do that. We make our own arrangement. We don't give Krishna a chance to protect us. No, I have insurance, I have life insurance, I have this insurance and that insurance. I make arrangements, I have so much wealth, I have so much plans. So we never give Krishna a chance to protect us. We're trying to protect ourselves and then it fails. Then we run into Krishna. Oh, Krishna, now the only protection we can get is from you. That's good. We run into Krishna. Please, my Lord, help me. So Krishna went with his boys to the Talavan. And then they started to shake the trees with the ripe tala fruits, and the tala fruits with big noise came down on the ground. And the demons, Dhenuka, the Asura, and his friends, they heard the tala trees, the tala fruits falling down. They immediately went to the spot. Oh, someone has entered our forest. That cannot be. Nobody's allowed here. This is just for my enjoyment. We think like that. In this world, this is just for my enjoyment. Hide it away from everybody else. I don't want to share my enjoyment. It's for my enjoyment and nobody else. I work so hard for it. It's me, I, me, mine. So then the demons came, and Balaram, the first demon who came, Dhenuka, he took him. They had the form of asses, of donkeys. And Krishna grabbed them. Balaram grabbed Dhenuka by the hind leg, and he whirled him around. Balaram is very strong. So strong. In his form as Ananta Shesha, he holds up the entire universe on his hoods. So how strong is that? He whirled this Dhenuka around and flung him on the top of a tala tree. And he passed out his life air, carcass on top of the tala tree. And then the other demons came, trying to assist Dhenuka. And each of them, they were taken by Krishna and Balaram and whirled around. If you are whirled around, or to speak whirled around by Krishna or Balaram, then we're losing consciousness very quickly. And they flung them all on the top of the tala trees, until all the demons had been killed. And then took the tala fruits and enjoyed the tala fruits. So Krishna does any and everything for his friends. They just a wish. Krishna will also do any and everything for us. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gītā, those who are surrendered unto me, I maintain what they have and I provide what they lack. Most don't understand what Krishna is saying. They're making excuses. Oh, it means spiritually Krishna will provide what we lack and maintain what we have. Krishna is not paying my mortgage, my bills. No, Krishna does it. Not that he personally appears and puts the money in our bank account. No, Krishna makes arrangements for those surrendered devotees that somehow or other magically the money is coming to pay the mortgage bill, to pay the electricity bill, and so on. Somehow or other, we don't know how. There's a beautiful story, real story, many, many years back in the previous Hare Krishna center, temple at Sosby Street. We had quite a number of devotees there, brahmacharis, and some Matachis as well in a different house. And that was a time where book distribution was flourishing and devotees were all engaged. So one day we had no money, no milk. Devotees said it would be nice, it's evening, to drink some hot milk, but there is no milk. We don't have any money. What to do? Then the bell rang. One devotee went outside. He came back with a 4-pounder of milk. Everybody was astonished. What's that? He said, there was a man outside the door, and he said, you people, I've brought you some milk. Take it. Nobody has ever seen that man before. Never anybody saw this man afterwards. He just appeared and then disappeared. So that's how Krishna makes arrangements. That was a direct arrangement. Krishna in many ways makes indirect arrangements. If we only trust him, if we have a relationship with him, if we are surrendered to him, Krishna, as he says, it's not that Krishna is lying when he says, I will maintain what you have and I will provide what you lack. It's not like that. Krishna is not a liar. It's his promise. There was a Brahmana who studied Bhagavad Gītā, and he came across that verse. And he thought, that's not possible. Krishna will personally maintain what I have and provide what I lack. And it was a very poor fellow. They had nothing. They had to beg for their food. He had no savings, no nothing, not food even in the house. So he thought, that's a mistake. Bhagavad Gītā is mistaken. Krishna will not personally come and provide any food for us. So he took his pen and he crossed out the word. And then he went on his begging tour. After he had gone for a while, 2 boys came. Beautiful boys. Very effulgent boys. Beautiful features. And they were carrying baskets full of milk, of yogurt, of ghee, of veg, of fruit, and anything. Heavy baskets they were carrying. And then they knocked on the door and the wife opened and she was surprised. And they said, your husband is sending you this. And she said, oh, wow, my husband is very poor. He has collected all of that today. That never happened before. And then she said, oh, please, stay here. I cook something and I'll feed you. And they said, no. We cannot stay here. If we stay here, your husband may come and he will beat us again. She was shocked. Beat you again? My husband has beaten you? Yes, look, Mata. And they showed their back and there were some whips, some strikes, some scratches on their back. Blood. And she said, my husband is that cruel. I never knew. And the boy said, no, we have to go now. And they disappeared in an instant. So she was very disturbed. My husband is that cruel. These young, beautiful boys. I want to feed them and they have been beaten by my husband. So she started cooking. And then, very unusual, she started eating. Normally the wife doesn't eat in Vedic culture before the husband is eating. Even in our Western, when I brought up, we had some unspoken rule was there. My father, culturally, and that is Germany in the 60s maybe, 50s, 55, 60. My father, we didn't start eating until my father was on the table and he started eating, then we started eating. Nowadays it's not like that. Everybody eats whenever they feel like. There's no respect for the parents in that way. So she broke that rule. She started eating, and then the husband came home. He said, what's that? You eating? I haven't even come home. And what is that? Vegetables, fruit, and milk, and yogurt, and ghee. So I explained to him. Not this. First of all, she said, why are you so cruel? these beautiful young delicate boys came, and they brought all this foodstuff, and they said, you sent them. And then I wanted to cook for them, and they said, no, we have to go, otherwise your husband is beating us again. And then they showed their backs with the marks of beating. And the husband said, well, there's nothing like that. And then he realized Krishna and Balaram have personally come to provide what they were lacking. Personally come. And his wife got the darshan of Krishna and Balaram, and he didn't, and he lamented bitterly. That was his crossing out Krishna's words in Bhagavad Gītā. We must have some faith. If Krishna says, I provide what you have and I maintain what you have and provide what you lack. This is literally true, not symbolically. So, here Srila Prabhupada continues. We're running out of time. Okay. Questions? Raise your hand. Type it in the chat. I should have stopped much earlier. Amrita Rati Mataji. Yes.
Thank you, Prabhu, for a wonderful session. My first point, the first point that I really liked or that struck me in today's session was that you said that bliss in the spiritual world comes from having deep love for Krishna, Radharani, and all the entire Vrajavasis, the trees, everything. So that is amazing. So basically my question regarding this point is that we will get that consciousness by focusing simply on remembering Krishna and Krishna's name, and then automatically love for everyone else in Vrindavan will manifest in our hearts. Is that correct understanding? That's question number one. And if you get time, and if others don't have any question, my question number two would be that Krishna will provide the way he did to Jayadev Goswami if we completely surrender, meaning we say that Krishna, all my skills, abilities, facilities, everything is for your pleasure only. Don't give me anything for my sense gratification. Just whatever is required for me to please you, give me that. Is that correct understanding? So these two questions, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Amrita Radha Mataji. Yes, that is correct what you're saying. That's correct. If we surrendered, Krishna will provide. There's nothing more to say about it. You already said it. That's a correct understanding. There is two highlights that, and I really apologize. We should have stopped, and maybe next time I have to set a little alarm or something, at least 8:15 or even 10 or 8:05 to allow for more questions, and next time we'll do that because we're running out of time. But there is a beautiful story of Srivas Thakur. One day Lord Chaitanya was questioning Srivas Thakur. Srivas, you have a big family, but I never see you going out and collecting some money and doing some business or something like that. How do you do that to maintain all your family? And Srivas Thakur, he clapped 3 times in his hand. And then the Lord questioned, what do you mean? Do you clapping 3 times? What does that mean? And again he clapped. And again he clapped. And then he explained, my dear Lord, if I have to go hungry for 3 days, I will drown myself in the Ganga. And Lord Chaitanya, he was, what did you say, Srivas Thakur? What did you just say? You have so much faith in Krishna that he will provide. If Lakshmi ever has to, by some arrangement, ever has to go begging Look, Lakshmi is a goddess of fortune. She doesn't have to go begging. But if by some arrangement she has to go begging, I promise you, you will never lack anything in your household with that kind of faith. That's a very great, wonderful faith that Krishna will actually provide. Practical, provide food in the house, and it's a fact. Srivas Thakur always had some food in the house. Always someone came and brought something. Here, I brought you this, I brought you some milk, I brought you this, I brought you that. And for all the devotees who did the Sankirtan in Srivas Thakur's house, there was never any lack. In fact, there was more than needed. One more question. Anyone?
Yeah, Prabhu, I have a question.
Is that
Amit.
Amit? Yes.
Yeah. Prabhu, you mentioned that we want to escape the cycle of birth and death. Yeah. Why would Krishna actually then give us birth on this planet?
Say it again, because I have my speakers on. I cannot hear too well. If it's not going over the headphones, unfortunately. Otherwise, I would understand you better. You say we want to escape?
No, okay. We want to reach spiritual realization and not take birth again.
Okay.
So, and we are all part of Krishna is responsible for everything. Then why would we actually be given birth on this planet?
Well, okay, good question. Good question. Is Krishna responsible for us to take birth on this planet? No, he isn't. We are responsible. We wanted to enjoy on this planet. It's just like saying, I'm standing in the sun and there is a shadow. I'm standing in the shadow, in my own shadow. So the sun is responsible for my shadow? No, the sun is not responsible. You turn around and the shadow will be gone and you're in the bright sunlight. So Krishna is not responsible for us being here in this material world. We are wholly responsible. We wanted to come here. We wanted to enjoy separately from Krishna. We wanted to play little Krishnas. I want to be the enjoyer. I want to be the controller. All of that. That is why we in this material world. And as soon as we realize, no, I cannot be the enjoyer. I cannot be the controller. Let me go the other way. Let me go back to Krishna. Let me surrender to Krishna. And then all our miseries will be finished. And after we're leaving this body, we won't come back to this material world. That was a very good question, Amit. Thank you.
Okay, Prabhu, thank you. Thank you for your answer.
Thank you for this thoughtful question. We have to stop here. I promise you, we'll make more time for questions. We are a big Sangha now, so there will be many more questions. And next Wednesday, I'll set an alarm or something like that. Otherwise, I'll be carried away and talking. And I could talk for hours. Okay. Thank you very much for being here tonight. Hare Krishna.
Join the Bhakti podcast with deep insights into all matters spiritual. Like and subscribe to keep up to date with your inner self.